with no words. Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can fake it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can fake it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Cannonball. Hey, now cannonball. 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 Cannonball.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the AOR Hype Energy F1 2017 Season 15, round number 11, here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. My name is King-Kodiak, and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, I'm always happy to say, is my faithful companion, the Lord of the Airways, Mr. Hamish Sopwith.
Yes, good evening everyone. Round 11, what an exciting race this is going to be, I hope, here in Austria. We've obviously had real life race earlier today. We've already got Carrie and Brendan Lee setting very competitive lap times on the board. A 105.149 by Carrie, and that is already quicker than Formula Danny's lap time of a 105.2 from last season. So very, very impressive from pretty much straight off. I don't know who you're viewing, Kodiak, but I'm on board with Brandon at the moment, and you can see how he's sort of using the understeer of the car to kind of just allow the car to drift out, to gain him extra lap time. And he went a little bit faster on his second lap he just did. He did a double run, but not able to get provisional pole.
We're used to Brendan doing that, aren't we? He'll go out, set his banker lap, and then beat it to regain the pole, which he didn't do this time. But still, time left in the session. A lot of people asking why it's not me singing the Cannonball wrong. I can't submit you guys. I can't torture you people every single week. I did it for the halfway stage. I'll say it now. I will do it for the season finale. I don't want to just submit you guys to it every single time. We have a new intro sequence as well, which I tried to play for some weird reason. It just came out blank. I don't know why, but I will try and sort that out for next week. So, Carrie, as we have already said in the Ferrari, is currently our poleman. Brendan Lee in second, who could is on course to seal the championship if he scores but 2 points. That's all Brendan needs to seal the championship here today. So 9th or higher will see Brendan Lee take the championship irrespective of where anybody else finishes. We have Marcel Kiefer currently third, 105.321. Wycons in McLaren in fourth, 105.386. Then Steve in fifth with VP Max 6th, Aresi 7, non-runner 8, Jan Fader 9 and VP Max rounding out the top 10. So with it being such a short lap, we expect the traffic, even though there's only 14 people, there were quite a number of people that weren't able to make it. I mean, this is holiday season for a number of people as well. Also, a number of drivers preparing for the F1 Esports migration. There'll be people getting ready to fly over to the UK for the upcoming events happening for that. So we will see who does what. 3 people still without a time on the board. Formula Danny, Fabrizio Donoso and Timp, although Timp is now on his outlap in the Mercedes, so we'll see what he can achieve.
Yeah, one person who doesn't need to worry about flying out to the UK, and he has attended all the races, is Brendan Lee, last year's esports champion. I wonder how he's going to do this season. It's going to be quite exciting to watch, I'm sure. Carey still with the fastest time. All the drivers seem to be either on an in-lap. I think you have Formula Danny on a slow outlap, and so is non-runner. Oh, he's going a little bit quicker, just coming up to turn sort of 6 and 7 now. Like Kodiak alluded to, it is a short track. It's only 4.3 kilometers. It's a pretty fluent track row. It's very high speed, and your average time spent on the throttle pedal is 65%, pretty much the highest of any track I think in the season, apart from Monza, which I believe is 69, Kodiak.
Indeed, and what you also have is what we certainly saw in today's real-life F1 races, a lot of trouble with the rear tyres. So again, our drivers will have to bear in mind how they wear these tyres out. But let's follow a lap then of this great circuit with the season excuse me, with the previous season champion of Veloci, Formula Danny, as he comes up the hill, catches the apex for turn 1, gets the car settled on that long straight, heading up the hill towards turn 2, Remus. Now, hopefully, me and Hamish are using the same map. Me and Fizzy didn't have quite the same. When we commentated on a GT3 race, we actually had different maps. We did have different corner numbers on it, weirdly. So he's just gone through turn 2. On my map anyway. My map has 9 turns in it. Hopefully yours does as well.
Mine has 10. But
so
that's fine.
Never mind. we will go. Turn 3. Or Roush as that one is called. A bit of a lock up on the inside. Never mind. Down the hill through 4. Then the left-hander of 5. Oh, and it looked like the tail just wanted to slide there for Formula Danny. Gets over to the right-hand side nicely. Then through 6. And then the right-hander of 7. Again, just catching the apex. Probably a little bit more than Veloci Danny wanted. Then into turn 8, rides the curb on the left-hand side to open up that as much as possible, down the hill, then 9, and then straight down to the line, DRS open, and it's going to be a 105, 150, 1,000th behind the current pole time for second for Formula Danny.
Yeah, well, he's improved on his lap time by a 10th from last season, so kudos to him. About the track maps, Kodiak, I'm using the official track map, so if you want to argue with the official president of the FIA, Jean Todt, be my guest.
I could, but I don't think I'd get very far somehow. Never mind.
Great lap by Formula Danny. Look how close Brendan is as well. He's just
300s behind.
Oh,
wow. And there you go. That is the gaps of all time set. We're within a second from 1st to 12th at the moment, as Donoso has slowed his car down. Who's he letting through? He's letting one of the Red Bulls go. Carey's come out again. So the Ferrari not content to sit on that one. Brendan is not. I mean, he's still just under 3 minutes to go, so he's got time. Again, it being a short lap, he can leave it very, very late before coming back out on track. Marcel Kiefer back out on track as well in the Force India. 105.321 for him. Resident second place man. Obviously the podium 3 have been quite consistent for the last few rounds, I think it's fair to say. 7 wins in a row for current championship leader Brendan Lee. So I mean, that in itself is an incredible feat for our esports champion. And we're starting to see a lot of people come out now. Wycombe, Steve, Merrick, Aresi all on track as well. Donoso is we saw him running very, very slowly at the beginning of his lap, so I'm not sure. I mean, he looks like he's pressing on, but I think he might be trying to get back round to start another one because he looked like he was going a bit too slow, and he's caught a lot of traffic. And it'll be assumably Wycomb's then getting out of his way. Oh, I think it was Marcel Kiefer as well on the side of the track. Wow, he's really pressing on. His Donoso, that was committed. And Brendan's also come out then, so it looks like everybody coming back out on track for another go. 1.5 minutes remaining, so it's now going to be do or die for anybody trying to improve.
Absolutely. I did see the two Ferraris quite close together. I wonder if they're going to try a bit of a slipstream tactic, but it looks like they've spread themselves out a little bit. Where is Aresi compared to his teammate Carey?
Aresi is coming through turn 3. Carey is coming through this
Bull I'm seeing. So turn 3 as well now. So yeah, maybe they are not trying the slipstream, which could prove to be quite beneficial. Let's see what Aresi can do though. He's coming up towards the end of the lap, coming up to turn 9 and 10, two very high speed right-handers. He nails the apex. He's not too wide. Don't want to be too wide. You will get penalised, and it's not a brilliant lap actually. He must have made a mistake. It's a 0.7 flat.
Who are we looking at then? Donoso is indeed charging on. Red fuel light on. He hasn't got a time on the board.
He's going quick.
He is indeed. That is Wycomb's that we see pulled over to the side of the road. Everyone is either out or on a lap or on an out lap, so no one is in the pits at the moment. Donoso through the last turn. That's very wide, but I think he just about managed to keep it legal.
It is.
Oh, what
no!
It's just an improvement. Donoso up to 4th in 105, 177. Oh,
sorry, Tim has just had an accident in a big turn.
Marcel Kiefer with a 105, 143 has Brendan is down in 6th. At the moment, let's have a look where he is. He's just coming through the final turn, I think. Yes, he is. He's coming through the last couple. Is he going to improve? It is DRS open for the Mercedes. Does he do it? He does not! He does not improve! He improves in time, but not in position. 105, 180. That's only 400ths behind Cole, and he's 6th!
How can you be that close? 37 thousandths of a second from 1st to 6th. And
look at that!
He's improved. He's got a,
wow! 104.952.
Makes Brandon look slow on this particular occasion. Kudos to Raven. He improved by half a second. He jumped from P13 all the way up to P11. He's been bumped down a bit. Tim, he tried a risky strategy there. The Mercs in a very vulnerable position for this race. Not that they've got any contestants in the constructors, but still in a very vulnerable position. 6th and last.
Wow.
We don't often see that. Donoso, it's good to see him with a good qualifying as well. We've so often seen him not having the best of qualifying performances. Steve has just came into the pits. He didn't decide to improve. But King-Kodiak, what a lap.
What a stunner. Yeah, exactly as you say, by the Ferrari. So it's a Ferrari Force India front row. I cannot recall the last time we didn't have one of the Mercs starting the charge towards turn 1. Wow. So it's nearly 2/10 between Carey and Kiefer. Then it's 7,000s. Then it's 300ths. Then it's 3,000s. Then another 3,000s. And then 200ths. That's 1st to 7th. Wow.
That is so. But it is one of the, it's one of the most competitive leagues in the world.
That is.
When you've got, like you say, the likes of Marcel Kiefer. I mean, to be honest, the whole grid, or the fact that the whole grid is within a second, is mind-blowing. I mean, any of the guys watching, I urge you to have a go on the F1 game and try your absolute best around this track. See what sort of lap time you get, and I can assure you, you'll be about 4 seconds a lap slower. So it is quite incredible. Unless you are, of course, Brendan Lee or the likes of Carey or anyone in this split, then you are unbelievably fast. But wow, what a qualifying. That was quite exciting. Then Carey right at the end, as the results are just going to come up any second now.
As on my screen, we're watching one of the Haas drivers being pushed back into the garage. And there it is, your final confirmation for the qualifying then. Hamish, take it away.
Carey, The Spanish driver, what a lap. We have seen him get a competitive time before, but he's done it once again. Marcel Kiefer in P2. Formula Danny, he'll be pleased with P2, especially with his...
Oh, hopefully... Oh, I thought we'd lost you for a second there, Hamish.
Donoso in P5, Lee in P6, Marek in P7, Wycombs in P8, Aresi in P9, and Raven, I think, will be happy in... P10. It's been a while since he's started in the top 10. Obviously, the drivers in the top 10 will need to start on tyres they qualified on. The drivers out, or the 4 drivers outside of the top 10 have free choice, and that might pay quite a big dividends around a track like this. I think the undercut is going to be quite strong when we see drivers coming in around lap 10 today.
Now, it's around about a 20-second lap time loss for the pit stops, so that is again something our drivers will have to bear in mind. It is bone dry here in Austria, so we will see then who is going to make the best of the conditions, make the best of their starting. This worst situation for Brendan Lee, but he has got a few races in hand, I think it's fair to say. But down to the grid then, 3 lights, 4, 5, wind them up and let them wait for it and let them go. It's a decent start there by the Ferrari in the front row, and the table is going utterly mad, and it looks like the Force India of Marcel Kiefer. Oh, trouble! Big trouble!
Brendan Lee has gone. He spun round.
Oh no! Our championship leader at the back of the field.
There's Wycombs. There's a Renault.
Yeah, it's one of the Renaults. Unfortunately, my table is a little bit upside down at the moment, so ignore that on the right. It's VP Marek and Wycombs at the back of the field. And oh dear, non-runner has already got himself a penalty that he could well have that appealed if he had to avoid an incident. And as you can see, there was a pretty big incident. Now the board has sorted itself out. Carey has held on to the lead from Marcel Kiefer. Formula Danny is still in 3rd. There is Steve in the Haas in 4th. Donoso in 5th position then. And then a big gap, 2 seconds, or comparatively big gap to 2 seconds to Aresi, who's got Tim right on his tail. What a start for Tim then, keeping himself out of trouble. Last to 7th before the end of the first lap. There's Max in 8, non-runner 9, and Brendan Lee all the way down there in 10th position after a disastrous start. Is he going to come into the pits? It doesn't look like he's going to. Nope, he's looking to continue, so he obviously doesn't feel like it's damage on the car, but he has got a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. Carey, his best position to date is P4, so the fact that he is leading he is in a mighty strong position. Marcel Kiefer, I've never known a driver to be so unlucky with, like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 P2s in a row. Yeah. Surely he can't finish P2 again. But then I suppose Brendan has got about 1 million P1s. But at the moment, Brendan Lee will win the championship as it stands if Danny doesn't win the race.
Yes, that's true. It would rely on then Danny not winning. But of course, Marcel Kiefer now chasing somebody else. He's very used to having a Mercedes ahead of him, which of course is not the case. The back 4, Marek, Raven, Wycombs and Jan Fader, all coming into the pits to have their respective problems sorted out. And it looks like, is Jan Fader still in there? Oh, Jan's just coming out now as the field are coming into the last couple of turns, so he's in danger of being lapped very, very early on. So Ferrari leads Force India, leads Sauber, and Marcel Kiefer now getting his name on the fastest lap board. So keeping the pressure on the lead Ferrari, then both Hasses of Donoso and Steve. Now DRS is enabled, and we should start to see the top start to shuffle around. Aresi is within 2 seconds of the back of Donoso now, so Tim is just about hanging on in there. Oh, that's interesting. He's on softs apparently. That's a very interesting choice. Of course, he started outside the top 10, so that choice was his to make. And Marek actually is back in the pits again. So, oh dear, and he's that frustrated. He's gone and sped in the pit lane. So that's his day done. And Wycombs is back in as well. So has there been trouble at the back of the pits again? And yeah, Wycombs is missing front wing. So that's again, he's come in, and Marek has chosen to retire his car. Both of those two needing new front wings for the 2nd time. So we have lost a vehicle already. Oh dear, it's not getting any better for the Swiss driver.
No, I'm just wondering if he did something on the end of a pit lane. It is quite a difficult pit lane. It is really, really narrow. It's like a street circuit coming out of that pit. A bit like Abu Dhabi. Carey's doing very well. He's keeping half a second ahead of Marcel Kiefer, just under now. Marcel Kiefer is very, very quick. Danny seems to be minding his own business, but still very quick. Steve has got a little bit of a gap. And then it's actually Donoso's got quite a large gap. Then again, Aresi. So it seems that you've sort of got the two races. You kind of have first to fourth and sixth to, well, Brendan Lee in P10. So it'll be interesting to see how that strategy carries out. Marcel Kiefer, we so often see him doing these alternate aggressive strategies. This time he might not need to, because he's already at the front. He doesn't need to make up any paces. And I thought he was going to have a look at Carrie then, but he decided to be a little bit wiser. So Carrie went a little bit wide just on the exit of turn 8, or for you, Kodiak, that was turn 7.
Indeed, indeed. So the Kiefer, Formula Danny, Steve and Donoso still have... Oh no, actually Donoso's fallen out of DRS range of his teammate, has he? Yes, he has. The second Haas does not have DRS, so that is not going to help his charge towards the front as Wycombs comes in the pits for a third time. So, oh, that's a big snap of oversteer by ACR Tim, and Wycombs has decided to call it a day. I'm not surprised. Lap 5 and being in the pits for the third time, I think is going to be enough for anybody. So just 12 drivers remaining. At this rate, everybody's going to score points. At this rate, we would actually have no one left. So, and Brendan has... Oh, Brendan's in a bit of a battle there.
Huge mistake. Did he lose 2 positions there, Kodiak?
Well, my board said that he did.
Well, he's still in P10. So
if he did, it may well have been like a lunging move.
Yeah,
that,
I think he tried to dive, and then he did something, so he lost the positions he did gain.
He's heavily in negative fuel. He's half a lap in which is quite bad in general terms.
3 or 4.
And he's negative, and it's very rare. He's really good at keeping the pace up and managing his fuel very well, so it's really rare.
I want to have a look at Marcel Kiefer and Carre. They're so close. If Marcel Kiefer gets a good run, and it seems he's got good traction, he's going to be right within the range of DRS for the next zone of DRS, which is coming up any second now. Surely he's not going to try and move on the inside. No, he isn't. He's going to look at exit. So he's going to have the DRS here. He gets an okay exit, although carry a little bit more traction in his Ferrari. Is he going to lunge down the inside coming up to turn 6? No, he isn't.
Now, bearing in mind they've done qualifying on these tyres, so they won't go too far in the rest. So the degradation is not too bad.
Lap 10, I reckon, Kodiak, I've been told. So
that was kind of my guess as well. The degradation is not too bad compared to some other circuits here in the Red Bull Rings, so they can go a little bit further than in some places. I mean, some tracks you barely see them do 6 laps before they ditch them. And they ditch them quite wisely, because they have absolutely had it. As Jan Fedde is in the pits yet again in the McLaren, so his day's getting no better.
Oh, it's an awful day for McLaren. They're not doing...
And there he goes.
In the constructors, and he has gone. That's a double DNF for McLaren. Carey went very wide in the first corner there. Donoso getting himself a penalty. Now, he's quite prone to penalties.
Unfortunately so.
So hopefully that is the first of not many penalties. So let's hope it's a one-off.
I'm seeing yellow flags popping up, but we're not seeing anybody dropping through the field, so don't know who those yellow flags are for. No particular indication there, no particular driver position changes. Danny is really staying right with Marcel Kiefer. Oh, Timp and Aresi have swapped position into turn 3. That was a decent move then on the soft shot Mercedes. Tim is having a great run here. You've got to bear in mind, everybody in front of him has got to pit, and he is having a great run there, now up to 6th. Brendan Lee and non-runner have swapped positions and actually on the way down to turn 5. So I think it was fair to say non-runner may have either made a mistake, or Brendan Lee just threw caution to the wind to get past the Red Bull. Of course, Brendan Lee knows what his target is. He has to finish 8th or higher, so he can run his race at the back there. Aresi's in, so that'll be the first scheduled pit stop. Wow, that was a big lock-up for the Ferrari then to get to the speed board before incurring penalties. Softs going on for the Ferrari. That's not a surprise from there. So out he comes in. He will come out in 10th as Rafen is quite some way down the road.
If I was paying for a seat at this Grand Prix circuit, I would be paying for Steve's seat. He has a brilliant view of the 3 cars ahead and they're pretty much, it looks like they're on a Skeletric track. And
yeah.
You know, they're all on one track. They're all going at the same speed. That is exactly what it looks like. Seemingly not too affected by dirty air, which is quite odd. They don't seem to be understeering as much, and Raven gets himself a penalty in P11. That is going to cause quite a lot of frustration. Danny went to the inside. Is he going to pit? No, he isn't.
No.
It's just he was being odd.
I wonder if he just had a snap of oversteer then, because yeah, it was like it didn't look like Steve was in a position to attack. As Donoso brings his car into the pits now, and a big lock up there, getting down to the necessary speed. You would think from there it's going to be softs as well. Timp then up to 5th place in the Mercedes from starting at the back of the field. Yep, softs on the Haas, and he will join Aresi down there. He should come out quite comfortably ahead of the Ferrari, and indeed he does. So 9th place then for the Haas, but still plenty of work for Carey to do to defend that top position, with Kiefer and Formula Danny in striking position. Steve's not too far back. He has just about got DRS, but he is a little way back. You can see him at the back of that particular conga line. Whether he's minding his own business or he's struggling to keep up, it could be that he's burned the best out of those tyres. But at this particular point in time, you would expect to see this particular pack of cars come in pretty soon. Anybody looking to come in? Oh, that's Danny committing, which is correct. You should do it that early to give the very, very clear message. You are coming to the pits. Formula Danny does indeed come in.
It's quite interesting if you look at Danny. It shows his fuel on max, which is qualifying mode. That is not available to the drivers. So if any viewers are
I've got him on lean.
He is now, but he was on max.
Oh, I see.
As he was going around. So if any of the viewers are wondering what's on max, it is just a glitch. It probably is just on rich mixture. Carey is doing very, very well indeed. Tim up 10 positions. What an incredible opening 10 laps he has had. He's probably going to go to lap 23, 24, bolt on the ultras and gun it towards the end. Because by the looks of it, I don't think any drivers have the pace that he does behind him on, even if they were on faster tyres. I don't think they have the pace of him. For example, otherwise we'd see Brendan fly past him, who was still on the ultra soft compound tyres. Non-runner has come in for new wing, and both first and second coming in. No, just Carey. So the Ferrari then has had enough of those ultra soft tyres. So get a speeding warning. No. Oh, very long way down on fuel. 2.27 laps. He's been defending very, very hard. Unless that information to us is wrong, he's on. Which it has been in the past. Yeah. I think it once or twice. Oh, super softs on. That is brave. Yeah, he's going to struggle with those, I would think, towards the end of the race. But hey, you never know. We've been wrong with the strategies before with Codemasters. Brendan's in as well. Carey is a. No, doesn't matter. Don't. So Brendan is. He's still on ultras. Is it? He is. Oh well, he's out there to have fun. I mean, there's no real pressure on his shoulders. I mean, he's 2.5 laps down on fuel, so he's going to have to run in lean for a while. You figure, why not go for fastest lap? Just go to enjoy himself. Just blitz as hard as he can. It'll be interesting if he is on ultras. I mean, it's not just a graphical issue, and I don't think it is, because according to Race Director, that is correct. It'll be interesting to see what a two-stop is like. We know how quick Brendan is. I think he's sort of just having a bit of fun because he knows he's won the championship pretty much. But who knows? I mean, Danny. In fact, Carey is behind Danny. So Danny has. I think Danny's going to end up. If Brendan's not careful, he might not be winning the championship. We will see, though. Plenty of action to go on. We're not halfway through the race. No, we're near halfway through the race indeed. As Formula Danny is right on the back of VP Max and right ahead of Carey. And we just saw Steve come through the pits. He's on the softs. He comes out in 6th place. In the house. Oh, we've lost. Marek. We lost him a little while ago. Marek has left the session now. And side by side there, Sauber and Renault. That's Formula Danny throwing his car on the outside, heading towards turn 3. He's taken that
third position. Very, very nice. Carey wants to do the same in the super soft shop Ferrari. Is he going to have a look through? This will be brave if he does it through here. And opts not to go for it.
So. He's losing so much time, but I think he's going to have to go into turn 9. I would if I. In fact,
there he goes.
Coming in.
Yeah, I think. No, I think the Renault let him go. I think Max let him go. And fair enough.
Carey.
Oh dear. Marcel Kiefer's in, so that hands the lead over to ACR Timp. He started on those tyres, started in last, and now leads the way. So fair play to him, and Marcel Kiefer comes back out on soft tyres. As one of the Hasses coming through, Max has just given himself a penalty, and he's just beaten Steve. That's going to be close, and Steve's got the momentum. He's going to have to go for the outside of turn 2. Who's going to win that one? That's very close. Oh, firm but fair there by Marcel Kiefer. He's going to have the DRS open. The Haas does not. And Marcel Kiefer defends us.
I think the Haas does, Kodiak.
Oh, it does?
He's going back at him, Ravi outside.
Oh,
He's
wow.
Get a switchback, so should get a good exit. And not as good as I thought, but it's still pretty decent. Wow. Great racing by those two. They barely touched. So, great job. Danny is your net race leader at the moment. So, if the race was to finish, well, as Danny is the net race leader now, no, Brendan depends what happens with Tim. Tim would come out P9, P8, sorry.
Yeah, indeed. So it's still all to play for Formula Danny. The championship is not decided. I would think the pressure probably is lifted from the shoulders a little bit with Brendan's recent form, unless he chooses to park the Mercedes. He just may decide, no, can't be bothered with this one.
Steve having a go on that Force India again. Yes, he is around the outside of turn 4. Maybe he's going to get a good exit now with the DRS. Has Marcel Kiefer got DRS? No, he hasn't. Coming up towards turn. No, it is turn 4 now. My apologies. Is he going to go inside or outside? He's gone through the outside. Late braking. Almost identical to what happened last time. Marcel Kiefer a little bit slow on the exit because he took that tighter line. Coming through turn 6, which will then become turn 7. Marcel Kiefer again. He's going to be quite slow because he compromised his entry speed. Steve has good exit, although in the dirty air now you can see the understeer kicking in. And they are going to follow in suit in P6 and P7. Max
and Donoso right ahead of them as well. They were having a bit of a side-by-side coming through 3, 4 and 5. So they are catching up to that Renault pretty quickly. I would imagine then that Marcel Kiefer is already sizing up a move with the Renault. Is he going to have a look at turn 1? No, not quite. He made his car apparent in the mirrors, but didn't go for the move. And bit of a lag moment there for either the Renault or the Force India. And here comes Kiefer. Is he going to try for an inside at turn 2? Oh, big switch moment there, but he has managed to... Wow, what a move by Steve! He followed suit the Force India, whether Max was aware that the house was there or not. What a great opportunistic move by Steve.
Another overtake for Steve. It's identical to how it's been for the last 3 laps. He tries again round turn 6 and he doesn't have any luck on that particular occasion.
Wow, Steve is really showing a very good turn of pace here in Austria, and this is quite detrimental to Marcel. This could be upsetting his chance for the win, as we see the ping marker there on Marcel, so it was him that was having the lag moment, as we will see earlier. So this could be quite detrimental to Marcel Kiefer's opportunity to take the win, but yeah, like we said, long way to go as yet. A lot of people have made a mistake already in this particular race. Who is that? So Marcel is... I thought Marcel was actually going on the back of Donoso, but not quite. Although they are closing in on the house a little bit out of DRS range for the next house down the road. Ooh, bit of a lock up there by Steve. Nothing too bad though. Tim leads by 4.8 seconds, and Raven comes into the pits from 10th position. So that will demote him to last. Only one, at the moment, there's only one non-point scoring position available in this race. As, non-runner gets himself a penalty, that's not going to help him. Super softs are, softs onto Raven's car.
Yeah, that's fairly screwed on by Raven. A pretty obvious choice. I don't really know why he decided to start on the super softs, because it's just a bit of a dull strategy. You're kind of putting yourself in the middle of it's the medium fastest tyre, so you may as well be on the fastest tyre rather than not on the fastest tyre. So he's never going to have the benefit of the fastest tyre in this race unless he decides to pit and go for fastest lap, obviously. But I don't know, we'll see what he can do. He's 20 seconds behind non-runner. If non-runner has a mistake, then, you know, he might be able to pick up a championship point, which would be good for him. It looks like Marcel Kiefer is, like you said, slowly closing down Donoso. He has got the DRS, so that is good. And Steve is also right behind Kiefer. They seem to have lost Max a little bit. He is obviously, he's now out of the groove he was once in. Formula Danny, he is closing up Tim by about 7/10 of a second lap. So will Tim come in before Danny takes him? In fact, it's going to be pretty much lap 24, I reckon. Tim will come in 23-24. So it depends if Danny can close the gap in by then.
He's going to want the ultras at that point, isn't he? That's what Tim's probably going to push on for. So have the softest tyres for
right next to Brendan Lee. Ironically, his teammate. So will he let his teammate through to win the championship?
Brendan's never going to make those tyres last to the end. No way in hell. Because I mean, he got on those quite a few laps ago. Yeah. So Brendan's got to come in against Aresti. Gives himself a penalty. Yeah. So yeah, we're seeing a few of those on the board. Carey still right there. He's just shy of 2 seconds behind Formula Danny. So he is keeping pace just about with the Sauber. But yeah, Tim is losing a lot of time. He's losing, you know, there's now less than 2.5 seconds between himself and Formula Danny. So I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to go for a super soft run and come in now rather than try and stretch it on. Let's see what he does, because the time he's losing is absolutely colossal. He's plenty in fuel, 3 laps to the good.
He made a mistake, Kodiak.
Oh, okay.
He lost about a second. I'll keep an eye on the time. It's currently, what, 2 seconds coming across the line. So we will keep you updated next lap, sure.
Indeed. So yeah, just over 2 seconds between the Mercedes and the Sauber.
Look at Donoso and Kiefer. They are pretty close coming into turn 1.
Yep, that they are. Just 3/10 to the good for the Force India. He's going to be in a prime opportunity. He wants a decent drive out of turn 2, but he's had to brake very hard to not slam to the back of Donoso. DRS now open. What's going to happen? Donoso going very hard to the right-hand side. Is Kiefer going to try and move on the outside? No, Donoso's gone back to the racing line. The Force India goes for the inside move. Can he get it done, though, in the next couple of turns? Is Steve going to jump straight through as well as we saw before? For Marcel Kiefer's just managed to nose ahead. Now for the outside, around turn 6. He can't get it done. Well defended by the lead Haas. Very nicely done. No impact between the two. Steve's got a great ringside seat for this particular battle going on. Now heading down towards turn 9 for the last couple of turns. And again, you can see that it looks like the tail of the lead Haas, Fabrizio Donoso, is kicking out a bit. I think that's just the way that the camera makes it look. I don't think he's actually drifting the car around the corner. Now DRS open once again. Is Kiefer going to have a look at the inside of turn 1? No, not quite. His next opportunity is going to be an exact repeat. But again, look how early Donoso goes for that defensive line. He's not confident to be able to keep Kiefer behind him without having to make that defensive intent. Now coming up to turn 2 once again. Oh, big dive by the Force India. Shoves the Haas wide. Steve is going to make the opportunity as well. He's gone past his teammate. Side by side with the Force India. Can he get it done before they get to turn 4? Oh, bit of wheel banging now. The Force India diving through, and he's going to get the move done, and Donoso's going to take his teammate back at that rate. What a great series of moves. Steve then remains in 5th position. Kiefer up 2, Donoso down 2.
Yeah, it was almost a replay of what happened earlier with Steve taking the position on Max at the time, and it was also with Marcel Kiefer. The DRS doesn't seem to be overly strong around this track, which is quite odd. Who's in the pit? Tim is in the pit, and he was losing 0.7 of the second lap, Kodiak, so I do think he just made a bit of a mistake. Carey doing quite well. Oh, he's got a point.
Oh, that's you commentated Kirsty before you even started speaking. That's impressive. Max is in as well. Ouch. So Tim then, he opted for supers as opposed to ultras. That's not a surprise. So this three-way battle is continuing. Steve has not let go of the back of that Forza India all race long. And Tim... Oh, Tim Peresi!
Oh!
Wow!
Not moved on because of Bessie. I think it just came back at him.
Yeah, he did. Brendan Lee's... he beat Brendan Lee out. Of course, Brendan Lee does have to come in again, unless, of course, then that's not ultra softs on his car, which we do think it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, because it would seem a strange thing to do. Tim still get it. He wants. Oh, is he going to go for an outside maneuver on the Ferrari? No, not quite. That would be exceedingly brave to have tried that there. But Tim wants to get on with it, and he wants to get on with it now. Brendan Lee is not hanging around either. He looked like he was shaping up for a move. Those ultra softs are looking very, very second-hand. What a move by both Mercedes to nail the Ferrari coming through the last two turns. Tim opened the door, and Brendan Lee dived through it as well.
Yeah, it is the soft compound tires on Brendan Lee, I can confirm. So he doesn't have to pit again, although the graphics are showing something different. Who's lost a lot of time? Why Steve and Kiefer, they've been going side by side. So has Formula Daddy, has Carey has been going on. Steve's going to try a move at turn 4, like a lot of the drivers have, and he isn't able to do anything just yet. He's going to be on the throttle nice and early. Is he going to look at something for turn 6 and 7? It's not the brightest if you try and move here, only because you're almost... Oh my God! So Kiefer's in the grell, so that means Steve is going to get a move done.
Impact between Donoso and Kiefer there. It wasn't too major, just Donoso jumping into a gap that was very quickly closing. I mean, he was committed to it, to be fair. So then that is down and positions again for Kiefer. Steve now up to third. A great race then for the Haas drivers. This, of course, before penalties are applied. Carey is closing in on Formula Danny as well. He is within a second of the top spot. Super softs on the Ferrari against the softs of the Sauber. Steve then is 7 seconds behind this particular battle. We still have another 14 laps to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting. The likes of Steve, Donoso, Kiefer, they're all going to close in on Carey towards the end. Carey is on the super softs. That means his tires are going to go off quicker than Formula Danny. So although he's quicker than Danny now, he won't be in about 5 to 10 laps time. Currently, Carey has 6 seconds of penalty. So it still keeps him in P2, but only just. And Danny's made a huge mistake. And Carey's trying to make a move around the outside of Formula Danny, coming into turn 8, and if he makes this mistake, this will be quite incredible coming to the last corner. Carey has got a good exit on Formula Danny. Formula Danny has the DRS. Carey just using his slipstream, he's gone to the inside. Can he brake late and try a move? No, he can't. Wow.
No, Carey didn't get the drive he wanted out of that final turn. He just spun up a little bit too much. And, of course, the Sauber with the DRS as Tim gets the fastest lap there in 6th place. He wants to try and close in that 7-second gap between himself and the three-way battle that is here, the one we've been staring at quite a bit of Kiefer, Donoso and Steve. Donoso's not letting his teammate get away to any great degree either. That's the no team orders in the Haas camp. But yeah, that battle for the lead rages on then between Formula Danny and Carey. And by this rate, it looks like he's going to carry on for quite some time.
Absolutely. Carey's strategy means he has to overtake Formula Danny, well, pretty much now. He is on the faster tyre, but it won't be the faster tyre for long. So he needs a track position in order for his strategy to make sense. So Danny obviously knows that, so he's trying his absolute best to defend. Carey for DRS coming down the pit straight, not overly long straight. The straight we're coming up to now from turns 2 to 4 on my map is about 800 meters long.
Donoso gets his name on the penalty board, so that has pretty much taken him out of that battle between himself and Marcel Kiefer. And that is how that battle currently looks. So trying to keep an eye on 2 battles in that three-way pack for the last podium spot, and of course this one for the lead with Formula Danny and Carey. It's been a while since we've seen Carey give this kind of performance at the sharp end of the grid, so it's quite nice to see the Ferrari show his true pace, and he's really pressuring Formula Danny. It would be nice to see Formula Danny back on that top spot. It's been a while. He did get, it was the second round of the season, I believe it was, last time. The second or third round of this season. The only 2 rounds that Brendan Lee didn't win. Danny was one of the winners. It was Donoso that was the other. So it would be good to see our current champion retain his championship just a little bit longer to take the win then. Carey, he's shaping up. Oh, he thought about it. Oh, he tried to take a tighter apex line through turn 1, but there was a Sauber on the apex, so wasn't going to make that done. But look at that, and again, Formula Danny committing to the defensive line. Oh, Carey went to try and force that door open. Danny was having none of that.
Yeah, Danny's too eyes. He's been too many races, and he's been out of top of the game for too long to let something like that face him. Although look how fast Carey's closing in, and he's going to have a better exit, I would have thought. Is it going to be enough coming into turn 6? Oh, it's going to be really close.
Ooh.
And he's trying to look at turn 6, so that's going to force Danny out to the outside now. Turn 7 side by side, and that is move done. Formula Danny's coming out, Carey, at a pretty fast rate. Is he going to have a look into turn 9? Probably not. He's going to use his head, wait for the DRS, and activate that from turn 10 all the way to turn 1.
Great move then by Carey. He knew exactly as you were saying before him. He had to make something happen. He had to get past because of the strategy he's on, because of the tyre life he's expected to have in those super softs. Formula Danny either decided to let him go. It didn't look like it. It did look like Carey just went for the move. But as you can quite clearly see, Danny has absolutely no intention of letting that Ferrari go anywhere. Well defended there by Carey, parking that one on the inside of turn 2. Now streaming down towards 3. Great back shot here from the Ferrari. Brendan Lee is losing time on Timp as well. I can see it's 4 seconds between the Mercedes pair. Timp is closing in on Marcel Kiefer as well. It's just 4 seconds. It was 7 seconds last time we looked at that gap a few laps ago. So Timp is pressing on. He wants to get involved in more battles down the road, and also the more these two fight, the more he will close in the pack of 3 behind them. So you just saw Steve get into the shot briefly before the camera cut away. Now he's Carey's opportunity to try and get some space between himself and the Sauber. He's got a little bit there, but he's going to have to work harder than that to shake Formula Danny off his tail.
Yeah, I can actually say Carey is on the soft compound tyres according to the race director, not the super soft. So although he is leading the race, he's got that 6-second penalty. So at the moment he's finishing P3, but only just. Yeah. So he needs to really push on, and I don't know his pace. I think he's opening about 0.3 of a second a lap. So who knows? He might be able to win this race with 8 laps to go.
For Marcel Kiefer's dropped off the back of the Haas pair. These two are still fighting. They did swap position a little while ago. Donoso right on the limit with his field at the moment. Steve, it was about half a lap in the good, so he doesn't have a lot, but he is at least on the right side of the line. But yeah, Marcel Kiefer's dropped away. He's now 2.1 seconds behind this pair. He was right with them, of course, as we previously saw. Haven't seen the obvious damage to the front wing. It is normally why people drop off the pace. But yeah, Marcel Kiefer either just opting to run his pace and just play the strategy out. He doesn't have a great deal of laps left to do that with, or he's burnt the best out of those soft tyres. We will see as the race unfolds. So that gap is beginning to increase then between Carey and Formula Danny. That's another reason why the Ferrari needed to press on the urgency to undo the penalty, which we don't know whether Formula Danny is aware of the penalty. He may have actually learned that and decided, well, I just need to stay within that distance of you and just inherit the win. Of course, any racing driver wants to get the checkered flag. Of course they do. But, sensible head has to kick in. You don't want to risk your impressive position. And like I said before, it's been a while since we've had Formula Danny on the top spot, and I'm sure he eagers for that spot once more.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have thought Danny would be aware of at least a penalty, only because your race engineer does tell you that information. So Danny knows as long as he's within 3 seconds, he is going to win this race. Danny hasn't won since China. He's had some pretty results. He had 15th in Spa. He's had a couple of thirds since then, so a win would definitely be, in open arms for Danny. He really, if nothing else, it's so he can prove to Brendan Lee that he is still one of the quickest drivers out there. So, how weird this? So Brendan Lee is 17 seconds, and I know we've said before that Brendan doesn't seem to have the pace, and then he's just came alive. I actually don't think he can come alive now. I think P7 is possibly his optimum, and look how well Tim has done. He's closed that 7-second gap to Marcel Kiefer, who we know is a really quick driver. So when Tim gets onto the back of Marcel Kiefer, does Kiefer have a penalty? No, he doesn't. The penalties at the moment is...
Donoso, that's dropped him behind Tim now. Yeah.
So Donoso has 6 seconds of penalty, Aresi has 1, Non-Runner has 1, Carey has 2, and Max has 1. And Raven also has a penalty.
That's a shame for Raven. But that is the nature of the beast. Yeah, Tim's had a absolutely stonking race. At this rate, unless someone pulls something godlike, I would absolutely give ACR Tim driver of the day. His performance has been absolutely exemplary, and he's very nearly in DRS range of that Force India. He's kept those tyres amazingly well, and he's in positive fuel. Not by much, but it is crucially he is in positive fuel, so he doesn't have to look too much at the fuel gauge. But we don't have many laps to go. We're coming up to 5 laps remaining in this race. Carey currently leads Formula Danny. Steve is now 6 seconds off the back of the lead pair. But Donoso's not in DRS range of him, and Kiefer is actually closing in on him, I've just realised. Albeit fairly academic, as we've seen Donoso put his name on the penalty board as well. But, of course, eyes are on this man at the moment, ACR Tim. He's got no one to defend against. Next car down the road is Brendan Lee, nearly 8 seconds down the road. That gap just continuing to increase. The second Mercedes not able to press on in the closing stages of the race.
Absolutely, Tim is like you say, he's closing so fast. It's pretty much corner by corner. He is now within the DRS. Last lap he was 2 seconds behind. Now he's under 1 second. Steve has a penalty. That's his first one of the race weekend.
That's going to drop him behind Tim as well. So that's what a shame for Steve. He did brilliantly well fighting against Donoso. But, yeah, that's going to...
This plays into Carey's hands, though. All these penalties
are
picking up. So this means Carey's best position, like I said, is P4. So a P1, 2 or 3, any of those is going to be welcome with open arms. But he's actually going really quick, is Carey. He's opened the gap to 1.5 to Danny, and that is increasing lap by lap. And he's increasing the gap by Steve by over 2 seconds since our last check. So good job from him. ACR Tim right on the back of Marcel Kiefer. He's going to have DRS. Marcel Kiefer is going to have the DRS on the house drive of Donoso. Tim is closing in corner by corner on the fresher super soft compound tyres. Obviously, because he started on the soft compound tyres, the DRS wide open. I don't think he's going to have a look at Marcel Kiefer into this turn, but he may very well have a look from turns 1
Oh, no!
Penalty. Is that his first one? I think it probably is.
That's probably been his first one in the last, probably all season near enough. I don't remember seeing Marcel Kiefer. Well, it's exceeding the rare. Wow, what a move by ACR Tim! He's not wanting to wait to the end of the race. He threw the Mercedes, a bit of impact between the Mercedes and the Force India as Marcel Kiefer went a little bit wide. Is he going to try and throw it on the inside? No, he got a little bit boxed in there between the Force India and the Haas. What a move by Tim. He's not wanting to lose any time. He wants to get on with Steve, but of course...
He's going to try and move on the inside. Donoso's going to go wide, looks like, onto the gravel. Kiefer's going to have a look on the inside of turn 7, and that's a move almost done. Donoso almost losing the back end. Kiefer and Donoso side by side.
Oh, that's so close between the Force India and the Haas. The Force India's taken the apex and demoted Donoso. How has all changed in these last few laps? 3 of them to go. Tim has got his sights set on Steve. Because Steve does have that penalty, whether Tim knows that or not. I don't think Tim cares. He is pushing on, and what a great performance by him as ACR Raven brings his car into the pits as well.
Wow. So, Steve, like you said, does Tim know does Tim know Steve has a penalty? Probably at this point. I doubt the drivers will tell the other drivers what penalties I have in Discord, but they may very well. They're from the race engineer. Up 10 positions is ACI.
Wow.
Tim. Obviously, we've had 3 DNFs, but that doesn't take away the fact that he gained 8 positions on the first 2 laps.
Yeah.
8 positions. That is. Whew, wow, I can't wait to watch a replay of the opening lap.
Yeah.
Hopefully Tim has got his footage recorded and we can have a look at that at a later date, because that is going to be quite something, Kodiak.
And to be fair, I mean, talking about the DNFs, they were at the back when they DNF'd as well. I think Wycombs may have had somebody behind him, but their race just started disastrously and ended just as badly. So it's not like Tim benefited from those, or I don't think really anybody benefited from when they actually fell off the track. But never mind, 2 laps to go. Carey leads by 2.5 seconds over Danny. 8.2 separates Danny to Steve, and less than a second separates Tim to Steve. Steve, of course, with the penalty, and Tim does not want to let that be a factor at all. He is pressing on whatever life he's got left in them tyres. He is pressing that into the tarmac. He is enriched, got very little fuel in his pocket, but he's pressing on nonetheless through turn 4. Staying right in the slipstream of that Haas. He does not want to let him out of his sight for a split second. We saw Tim only a couple of laps ago for Donoso wide at this very point. And again, you can see how Steve is struggling to get the traction where he needs it. Now Tim is just positioning himself to dive on either side of the Haas. Now through the last 2, Steve's a little bit wide, and he's not even waiting for the line. Through he goes. Oh, wow, that was wheel to wheel. And Tim into 3rd before the final lap even begins.
Wow, what a move by Tim. Danny is pushing extremely hard. He hasn't had a single warning all race, apart from on lap 35. So just imagine if Danny gets himself a penalty, we could still see Carey win this race. My driver of the day isn't actually Tim. It is Carey. Although he's got those penalties, Carey's best position is P4. He is, in my eyes, he has won a Grand Prix for AOR. He can get those penalties contested if he feels it's unfair. So maybe if he can gain just 0.2 of a second, maybe he can get one of those penalties removed.
Who knows?
That's something for the stewards to decide. But he is coming across the final corner and across the line to sort of win the Austrian Grand Prix.
And there it is then, and there you go. You see the position juggle. Formula Danny has taken the win by 3.1 seconds ahead of Carey. Tim then in the Mercedes takes the 3rd position spot. Steve 4, Marso Kiefer 5. Donoso just crossing the line now. There he is with his penalties added. Remains in 6th position. Raven, right at the death, takes the fastest lap. Why not? He was in last, had nothing else to prove.
Good job.
And Brendan actually got elevated to 6th because of the penalties that Donoso had. Max 8, Aresi 9, a non-runner. There he is in the final running vehicle. Just coming around turns 7 and 8 in the Red Bull. He will take the remaining point home. What a race it's been.
Absolutely. Your champion in P6, Brendan Lee, for the first time on PC. What an incredible season for him. He's had a run of victories since Bahrain in round 4. And his victory ending streak stopped in Singapore. But what a magnificent driver. He was quick last season, even quicker this season. So fantastic job from him. Danny is no longer the reigning champion. This is, of course, Brendan.
So has Brendan actually taken the spot then? Not that my rough maths was saying that he would, but I'm no good at such things. So either way, the race victory in the hands of the Sauber. We're used to seeing him on the podium. It's been a while since he was on the top. We're used to seeing a Mercedes up there, but it hasn't been Tim. But there we go. Only 2 drivers in the remaining Brendan was one, Danny was the other, didn't have a penalty to serve. Oh, incredible race.
I'm surprised Tim got a penalty. He's usually pretty clean. I didn't actually get that, so he must have got that penalty fairly early on. But yeah, what a race, Kodiak. What a race indeed.
We've got some people wanting to talk to us, which is
Tim
always
actually
good
got
to
his
see.
penalty on lap 7.
Quite early on.
Yeah, so it was quite early on. A great job from Formula Danny. He's going to be so relieved and pleased he got that race victory.
Yeah.
Thoroughly deserved.
Right, Timp, Marcel Kiefer and Formula Danny have made themselves available to talk to. So let us see.
Kodiak will bring them into the commentary box and
there they are.
They will have a discussion with us on how they thought their races were.
Fabulous. Right. Gentlemen, welcome to the com box. First of all, I think we will have a word with our race winner, Veloci. Formula Danny, it's been a while since you've had that top spot. You must be quite pleased with that.
Hello guys, I hope you can hear me.
Certainly can.
It was the hardest race ever in my life, and I tell you why soon. First of all, I messed up my quali lap in the penultimate corner. It was a little bit too much, and I totally lost the back end. But I guess seeing Marcel's face in the practices, he deserved to be in front of me, and Carrix did an amazing job as well in the qualifying. But my setup was really good in terms of tire wear, and it was really good in terms of race pace, and I knew that I probably have the best pace, at least in the first stint. And I wanted to overtake Marcel and Carrix in front of me, but I just couldn't, so I backed up instead of that, and I just saved my tires. And if they come to pit in the lap 9 or before, I stay out for long and I try to attack at the end of the race with fresher compound, or if they don't come in, I try to undercut them. And the last option was working for me because I undercut both Marcel and Carrix, and from them I started to rule the race. At least this is what I thought, because on my screen Carrix's tire was red. It means super soft tires, so I instantly thought that he is not in the same race with me, he is in a two-stop strategy, and that's why I didn't even try to pull away to the distance or defend from him at any cost. And when he started to attack me, like lap 26 or so, I thought that the super soft tires at this stage must have had gone off, and how he attacks me. And that's when I asked on Discord our friends in the chat that what tire is Carrix on, and they told soft. And that's when another problem came in. You will be able to see it from my video if you check it. Timp was decent for me all along of the race, and I had to overtake him, and in a lap once I lost more than 2 seconds just because of his car, and Carrix started to attack me. We were side by side afterwards. He started to open DRS and eventually got past, but luckily Jeff told that he has a penalty, so I really tried to gap myself within the 3 seconds gap, and at the end of the day I finished 2.9 seconds behind him. So whether he would have got 1 penalty, but he got 2 penalties, I still have the race win, and I think I deserve that one, and I'm very happy.
I should imagine you are, and exactly as you say, well deserved indeed. Well, Mr. Timp, what a cracking effort from you after, I think it's fair to say, a bit of a disastrous qualifying from you. Again, you must be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, let's just forget the qualifying. that wasn't my greatest moment of my life, but yeah, the race was just usual me, like getting amazing stuff. Well, there was a lot of mayhem on the start, so I gained like 8 positions after first lap with the slower start. So after that time, I knew that I'm gonna be strong. So, and yeah, obviously with supers, I was so much faster than cars ahead, and then Fabrice was a little bit slower and blocked Marcel. He was like slowing Marcel up, and then I did nice move on both of them. Yeah, and yeah, obviously everyone knows what happened next. And also I got my penalty on lap 7, so yeah, that was really tough. And then I was with 2 warnings for like last 15 laps. So yeah, that was stressful race, but really fun as well.
Great stuff, great stuff. We also have with us Marcel Kiefer. It's been a while since you haven't been on the podium. You had your fair share of battles. How was that one for you?
I didn't enjoy it. I messed up the quali. Like, I forgot to change to fresher tires, and so I did my final lap on 1 tire. So that was quite tricky, and I was surprised, but I still managed to finish P2. But that was alright. I knew in the race that I needed to pit 1 lap earlier than most of the other guys, but at the end I saw they struggled a bit more on the super soft, so it was kind of balanced. But after the super soft stint, everything went downhill. I got a lot of screen freezes, I had a low FPS rate, and yeah, some of the drivers that were on a slow strategy didn't make it much easier for both of us. And at the end I even got a time penalty, so that wasn't a good race. It's still P5, but I'm not happy about that. I feel like the podium, at least, I got robbed of that, so yeah.
It doesn't always go your way, but it was well fought nonetheless. We also have Mr. Donoso with us. We don't often get to speak to you from ETO, so we saw some great battling going on there, some to your favour, some not. How was that one for you?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, that race was quite weird for me because I hadn't too much practice and found myself starting P5, I think. So yeah, I had a tricky start to stay ahead with the guys in front of me. Then I decided to early to make the undercut strategy. That worked very well because I overtook Steve, my teammate, and Marcel at the moment. And from then it was just keeping my position and defending as far as I probably could. So, and yeah, we had a few battles with Marcel and Steve. Maybe not always fair, even from my side or the side of Marcel. We will watch that on our side, but if anything bad, I want to apologize already. And then again, too much penalties on my side, so finish P6, I think. But yeah, the pace was good. I could have been a podium, and yeah, congrats to the podium, guys, and see you soon. I don't think that the next week is going to be a race, so see you next time.
Indeed, correct. It is a break week next week because Silverstone is the real life Silverstone is going on, and a lot of people are looking to be there, and that is going to wrap it up for our interviews. And wow, goodness me, what an incredible race. Any questions to your side, Hamish?
No, I don't think so. It's just, as usual, fantastic quality of racing from all the drivers. I think we had an overtake at least every single lap, so it definitely kept me in Kodiak.
That it did. So just leaves me to thank our incredible spectators for being with us throughout the race. Always a great pleasure to have you on board. Thank you to our sponsors, Hype Energy and Elgato, for being with us as always. Thank you very much to our drivers for putting on an incredible show. It's amazing to watch, and we will be back here in 2 weeks' time for the next F1 race, but there will be plenty more AOR action going on the channel, and we will see you then. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night.